Good afternoon, and welcome to the F Scott Fitzgerald Theatre here in Rockville for the 2015 inaugural ceremony. I'm Rock 11 Now's Colby Ford. The ceremony will begin momentarily, and you can count on us to bring you full coverage of today's historic event. You voted Rockville, and now it's time for your elected officials to be sworn in and get into the business of Rockville. Here are your newly elected mayor and council. Bridget Donald Newton will serve a second term as mayor of Rockville. And your city council members are Beryl L. Feinberg, Julie Polakovich Carr, Virginia D. Onley, who are all returning for their second term on the council. And Mark Pershela will join them. The 2015 inaugural ceremony will begin shortly, but right now, let's listen to the musical sounds of the Richard Montgomery High School Madrigals.
Thank you, and those of you who have been listening, thank you so much. We're going to do one more selection. This is a wonderful setting of Daniel, and we have two soloists, Muye Wang and Yashi Janamachi. This is arranged by an American composer, Dean Moore. And I figure for politics, we all know the story of Daniel in the Lion's Den. So this is a wonderful setting. I hope you enjoy it. Daniel, servant of the Lord.
Oh, the king cried, oh, Daniel, Daniel, oh, Daniel, Daniel, oh, that a Hebrew Daniel, servant of the Lord. Oh, the king cried, oh, Daniel, Daniel, oh, Daniel, Daniel, oh,
that's a Hebrew Daniel,
servant of the Lord. Daniel, 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 Lord. Daniel, 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 Lord. Daniel, 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 he stayed there all night long. While the king cried, oh, Daniel, Daniel, Lord. Daniel, Daniel, Lord.
that's a Hebrew Daniel,
servant of the Lord.
Now the king in his sleep was troubled, and early in the morning he rose to find God had sent his angel down to lock the lion's jaws. Oh, the king cried, oh, Daniel, Daniel, oh,
Daniel, Daniel,
Daniel,
Lord, that Hebrew Daniel, servant of the Lord. The king cried, oh, Daniel, 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 Lord. That Hebrew Daniel, servant of the Lord, that servant of the Lord, that servant of the Lord.
Bonjour, mon ami. Good afternoon. and welcome to the inauguration of the 65th Mayor and Council of Rockville. My name is Eileen McGuckian, and I'm honored to be part of today's historic occasion. You've been enjoying the Richard Montgomery High School Madrigals, directed by Ron Frezzo. Mr. Frezzo has taught secondary school music for nearly 47 years and has been recognized as an outstanding educator by the Washington Post, Music Teacher of the Year by the Maryland Music Educators Association, and for distinguished service by Montgomery County Public Schools. Thank you, Ron, and thank you, Madrigals, for being here. The Madrigals are one of 3 choral groups at Richard Montgomery, which boasts 4 student-run a cappella groups. In addition to major school concerts, the Madrigals have performed in almost every inauguration since 1986, at state choral festivals and area nursing homes and retirement homes, and on 5 tours in Europe, last summer in Eastern Europe, ending in Prague at a sold-out benefit performance for victims of the Nepal earthquakes. Recently, half the group performed at the University of Maryland's High School Choral Invitational, and the other half are singing in Richard Montgomery's fall musical, Les Mis, which you can see next Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. And then come back to Glenview to hear them on a Sunday in December. Thank you. So thank everyone else for joining us today, and if you are able, please stand as the Rockville Police Color Guard posts the colors, and then remain standing for our national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation. The Honor Guard was formed by Chief Terry Treshik in 1997. This is a select group of volunteer police officers who represent the city police department at local functions such as Montgomery College graduations, inaugurations, public safety awards, police academy graduations, and most importantly, represents the Rockville Police as they pay tribute to fallen officers at their memorial services. I'd like to introduce Karen Rollins, who is going to sing the national anthem. And after 25 years as a city recreation supervisor, Karen started the Finest Performance Foundation to support arts-based programs to foster youth character and talent. Karen. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Reverend Miller? Reverend Sean Miller lives in Rockville, and he's the pastor of the Potomac Presbyterian Church, to which the Newton family belongs.
The events of this weekend in Paris, let us begin with a time of silent reflection and prayer. Good and gracious God, Lord of creation, author of our lives, we invoke your presence here on this great day of inauguration, a day of new beginnings, of new challenges, of new horizons. We invoke your name in the words of the prophet who called the city to care for its poor with justice that flows like a river and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. We invoke your presence in the words of Jesus of Nazareth, who goes into the city and calls the peacemakers blessed, and the meek blessed, and the poor in spirit blessed. We invoke your presence in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who reminded the leaders of all cities across this nation that the ultimate measure of a person is not where he or she stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he or she stands at times of challenge and controversy. We invoke your presence in the words of Pope Francis, who says that the world will tell us to seek success, power, and money. God will tell us to seek humility, service, and love. Gracious God, be with this mayor and this council on this great day in this great city built on a rock. Be with our mayor and council when difficult decisions must be made. Be with them in their disagreements, that mutual respect may govern their deliberations. Be with them in their agreement, that humility and compassion may rule the day. Be with this city that we love, in the schools that we love, in the places of recreation and business that we love. Be with this city and all of our leaders as we trust in a new day that has dawned. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, not only do we welcome everyone here from us common folk, but we also welcome a number of dignitaries who are here today. And I'm not sure that we have you all, but if we don't, we'll catch up with you a little bit after that. So, I think starting from the top, I think Ken, I can't see individual people out there, but he told me the other night that he was going to be here. Ken Richard from Senator Ben Cardin's office. There you are, Ken. Thank you. Okay. And at the state level, is Senator Kagan here? Cheryl or Eric Britton representing her? Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. And I see Delegate Gilchrist over there, Jim Gilchrist, and Delegate Kumar Barve. Okay. And Delegate Andrew Platt. Okay. Okay. Okay, from the Montgomery County Council, we have our own Sidney Katz, former mayor of Rockville, Gaithersburg. And City of Gaithersburg, anyone from Gaithersburg or from elsewhere from the Montgomery County Council here? Okay. So, closer to home, how many former mayors of Rockville are here? Any here? Okay, their loss. All right. And we'll catch up with them if they come in late. But I did see former council members here. So Bob Wright is here. Okay. Tom Moore is here. Tom, okay. And Glennon Harrison is here. Okay. Okay. Anyone I missed for right now? Okay. Thank you all for being here. All right. Thank you also, the Madrigals, the police color guard, Ms. Rollins, and Reverend Miller. I call this my 5 minutes in the sun. I'd like to take a few minutes just to pick out a theme, and being a historian, my themes are historic usually. And I think I can start out by saying we're very sad for Paris today, but it is wonderful to be here in one of the best small cities in America, with about 65,000 people and more than 1,000 acres of parkland, where the mayor and council are accessible on the streets on Monday evenings today and on TV. It's particularly great to be here in Rockville Civic Center Park, which is one of Rockville's newest historic districts, where you can easily recall the Bowie Farm of the 19th century, the dramatic upgrades and pizzazz by the Lions in the 1920s, and the mayor and council that in 1957 made one of its wisest decisions ever to purchase this property. It's no accident that one of the first improvements under city ownership was this building, known as Rockville Civic Center Auditorium when I arrived in 1966. Today, the F Scott Fitzgerald Theatre is a modernist architectural landmark that defines our evolution from town to city. This special small city continues to make history. This is the first time that Rockville's governing body has been elected to serve a term longer than 2 years. Things moved quickly once residents decided to incorporate Rockville in January of 1860. The Maryland General Assembly passed the legislation in March. How about that for quick? And the first election was held on May 7th. Rockville's 66 white male voters elected 3 commissioners for Rockville for 1-year terms that began that month. From 1870 to 1880, Rockville's commissioners were appointed by the Montgomery County commissioners to 1-year terms. These men were attorneys, merchants, farmers, a printer, and a blacksmith. In 1880, Rockville returned to electing its commissioners, only this time for 2-year terms. The man receiving the most votes was president of the commissioners. This arrangement lasted until 1888, when Rockville adopted a new town charter and named its governing body the Mayor and Council of Rockville. Those folks were elected in May for 2-year terms. Like their predecessors, they are buried in local cemeteries, and their names can be found on street signs everywhere around here: Buick, Talbot, Stone Street, Owens, Laird, Redding, Vinson, Dawson, Linthicum, Anderson, Williams, Welsh, and so on. We already have a Carr Avenue. Sorry, Julie. But there's still room for Newton Street and Olney Avenue. So the status quo held for about 100 years. Elections in May for 2-year terms. We moved to November elections in 1984. While council members were elected for 2 years terms, some stayed in office a lot longer. Early multi-term mayors were father and son lawyers William Veers Buick Sr. and Jr., Hattersley Talbot, Lee Offutt, whose 6 terms included a typhoid epidemic here in 1913, Roger Spates, and Lamar Kelly. You will recall mayors in the second half of the 20th century with more than 2 terms: Frank Ecker, Bill Hanna, and later Doug Duncan, Rose Krasnow, and Larry Giamo. But Douglas Blandford wins the prize for the most terms ever, 7 terms from 1932 to 1946. This election, the first for 4-year terms, follows years of debating longer or shorter terms and a referendum in 2013 where 53.5% of voters favored an increase to 4-year terms. So at the end of her about-to-begin term, with 2 previous years as mayor, Bridget Newton will have been in the top office for a total of 6 years so far. She'll serve those 4 years with 4 qualified council members selected by the voters just recently. Hailing from 5 different Rockville neighborhoods, this governing body maintains the previous ratio of gentle women to gentle men. They will be responsible for listening to those who live, work, and play here, for maintaining our traditions, developing fresh initiatives, and directing city staff for the good of our best small city. I wish them all wisdom, good health, patience, and Godspeed. So, without any further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce Mayor-elect Bridget Donald Newton. And Bridget is up here, and I'd like to invite Barbara Mickelson, the clerk of the court for Montgomery County, whose office has been swearing in mayors of Rockville since 1888, to come to the podium. And will Bridget's family please come up as well? Here they come. Okay. The family would be, okay, in order. I think I can see you. Husband Fred, daughter Maggie, and
my sister Jane.
Sister Jane, okay, and son Kyle. Okay. Mayor Newton was first elected to the mayor and council in 2009. After moving to Rockville 34 years ago, she jumped into volunteer leadership roles in her West End neighborhood, our struggling town center, school, and church organizations. Her service during 2 terms on the council and 1 term as mayor have been marked by hard work, integrity, accessibility, civility, a sense of humor, and dedication to the best interests of the entire community. With Rockville opportunities in mind, Mayor Newton has built relationships with surrounding jurisdictions: Montgomery College, Montgomery County, City of Gaithersburg, District 17. She chairs the Maryland Municipal League's Legislative Committee and is the second vice chair of the Transportation Planning Board of the Metropolitan Area Council of Governments. Mayor Newton.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. I'll say aye. You'll say aye, say your name, and then continue to repeat after me. I, say your name,
Bridget Donald Newton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office
execute the office
of Mayor of Rockville
of Mayor of Rockville
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of this state.
and laws of this state.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And we'll have you sign in 2 different places. Sign first in the book here. I'm the lefty, so I have just your name. You have to sign in. And then sign the receipt.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, and congratulations to the newly sworn mayor. And Okay, so her first job as the new mayor is to administer the oaths of office to the 4 newly elected council members in turn. And we go alphabetically, so the first is Beryl L. Feinberg. And Ed, will you join us? Husband Ed is coming up to join us as well. Ms. Feinberg will be serving her second term on the council. Residing in the Orchard Ridge neighborhood since 1994, she is Deputy Director and Chief Operating Officer of Montgomery County's Department of General Services. On the City Council, she has attended to improving services to city seniors and young people with disabilities. Her experience in financial matters resulted in moves toward budget and policy changes to eliminate duplication and reallocate funds for needed programs. Ms. Feinberg has been the council's liaison to city boards for recreation and parks, retirement, human services, and sign review.
Thank you. I'm going to come over here. And I just want to say for the record that I left my Bible in the car and Beryl shared hers with me, so thank you very much for that. Repeat after me. I,
Beryl L. Feinberg,
do affirm that I will
do affirm that I will
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of council member of the city of Rockville, according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need my glasses.
Check what you're signing.
Right. There you go.
Thank you. Thanks.
The last time they all tried to take their oaths home, they can't do that. Okay, next is Virginia Onley, and she will be serving her second term on the council. And with Miss Onley today are her sister Rosemary Hill.
Rose didn't make it.
Not okay.
But my sister Sandra is here.
Okay, sister Sandra, brother Bernard Hill. Okay, son Claude Onley, the junior, daughter-in-law Cassandra. Grandchildren Claude 3 and Corinne Onley, and nieces Robin, Cheyenne, and Michelle Hill. Welcome
And
to
nephew
everyone.
Stanley.
And nephew Stanley.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Miss Onley hails from the small town of Libertytown in Frederick County, Maryland, and moved to the Americana Center in 1993. Retired from positions at IBM Corporation and the Naval Base in Bethesda, she has been active in numerous community organizations. During her first term on the council, Miss Onley stuck to her values for straight talk, civility, honesty, and respect for all viewpoints. She has worked to promote careful management of Rockville's growth and resources in order to maintain our city's hometown feel, affordability, safety, and attractiveness.
I'm going to say I, and then you say your name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
I, Virginia D. Onley,
do affirm that I will
do affirm that I will
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of council member of the City of Rockville
execute the office of council member of the City of Rockville
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Virginia.
Sorry.
Now, while I sign, you can hug.
Okay, great, thanks. Oops, excuse me. I'm done. Okay, good.
Great to have these cheering sections. Julie Polakovich-Carr will serve her second term on the City Council. Joining her on the stage today are her husband, Eric, and their son, Bradford, I hope? Wonderful. Okay, I want to see him. Also her parents, John and Joyce Polakovich, and members of Eric's family, Randy, Lori, Adam, and Randy. Will they come up, please? Ah, youth. Hi there. Hi, guys. Hello there. Okay. Julie lives in East Rockville and is a public policy manager at the American Institute of Biological Sciences. In her first term, she championed efforts to make Rockville a more sustainable community, sponsored a major overhaul of the city's animal control ordinance, and sought ways to make Rockville a safer place for pedestrians and bicyclists. She has been the liaison to the city's Environment and Traffic and Transportation Commissions, Bike Advisory Committee, and Animal Matters Board. She's also active in regional planning through her participation in the Council of Governments Climate, Energy, and Environmental Policy Committee.
I
Julie Polakovich-Carr,
do affirm that I will
do affirm that I will
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
without
partiality or prejudice, execute the office of council member of the City of Rockville
execute the office of council member of the City of Rockville,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Congratulations. Thanks,
Thank
Julie.
All right.
Thanks, Julie.
Last but not least. Okay, Mark Priscilla is our last person on the council to sign in. And I'd like to welcome to the stage Mark's wife, Leslie Cross, the daughters Esme and Vita, who are here. Oh, good. Hi, Leslie. Good job. Parents Matthew and Norma Pershela. Are they here? Okay, but they may, okay. Sister Ellen Pershela with Calvin Williams and cousin Carl Pershela. They're stuck on the Rockville Pike and here with us in spirit. Okay. Okay. Mark Pershela lives in College Gardens, and he owns a one-person international consulting firm specializing in data collection methods and software for scientific and economic surveys. You'll remember that he served on the Rockville City Council from 2009 to 2013, and the next year, when he was off the council, he walked every street, park, and public school campus in Rockville, walking a total of 519 miles. Must have had one of those gizmos on your feet. This gave him a much deeper appreciation for the variety of Rockville's neighborhoods and the diversity of its people. These added insights will help inform his decisions over the next 4 years.
I
Mark Pershela,
do affirm that I will
do affirm that I will
support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and the laws thereof,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of council member of the city of Rockville,
execute the office of council member of the city of Rockville,
according to the Constitution and laws of the state.
according to the Constitution and the laws of the state.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations.
So everyone is sworn in and back to their seats, and I'd like to present to you the Mayor and Council of Rockville. And specifically, the new mayor of Rockville.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate with us as we become the 65th Mayor and Council of the City of Rockville. While this is a very special day for each of us, and we are grateful for the opportunity to be able to celebrate it with our families, our friends, and our supporters, as we've heard already, it's a very tragic time in our world, and we all mourn with those who face this tragedy. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. These words, written by John Wesley, resonated keenly with me, and I hope they will with you. I've been saying "Together we can" for several years now, because I believe that that is exactly what public servants are expected to exemplify, working together in the best interests of the greater good. In this case, our city, the city of Rockville. 2 years ago, I spoke about hope. Hope for the new term, hope for our city, hope that the opportunity that the council was given to work together would bring Rockville to new heights. In rereading my remarks from Inauguration Day, I was reminded of the positive steps we were able to take. We reinstituted walking town meetings, a positive step in neighborhood communications. We finally completed a comp and class, a positive step in employee compensation after 6 years of no raises. We partnered with MCPS on an enhanced gymnasium for the future Richard Montgomery Elementary School No. 5, a positive step in the relationship between the city and MCPS, which was acknowledged again by President O'Neill at the hearing last week. We invested in our infrastructure while improving our financial position, positive moves on 2 very critical measurements. We held public hearings on subjects ranging from the budget to growth to a new animal ordinance, giving our citizens an opportunity to be heard on significant issues. We thoughtfully and quickly returned a Rockville Pike Plan to our Planning Commission. We received multiple awards: Best City for Families, Best City for Entrepreneurs, Most Livable City, and we were featured in a Maryland public television documentary called Our Town. Last weekend, I saw a film on the big screen, i.e. a movie, for the first time in many, many months, Bridge of Spies. As I read the prologue on the screen, I was struck by several things. Once again, Hollywood has put into a pictorial story factual events in the history of our world. Most of these events do not end up in our history books, and most people seem willing to ignore the fact-based movies in favor of fantasy. Maybe this is because, as the tragedy showed us this weekend, we feel a need to escape, a mind trip away from the ugliness in our world today. But if we don't study and learn from our history, as the saying goes, we are bound to repeat it. Bridge of Spies is set in 1957, the year I was born, and my first name has all the letters in the same order, plus a T. But seriously, the film is about the Cold War and the deteriorating relationship, the lack of trust between some pretty heavy hitters in the world stage. The most important takeaway for me was that one man, a lawyer for an insurance company, had the integrity, the morality, and was just naive enough that he was able to accomplish what the governments of the Soviet Union, the new Republic of East Germany, and the United States of America were unable to do. 3 imprisoned men went home to their countries, to their families, because he listened, hoped, but most of all, because he trusted. The Cold War ended a long time ago. And if they can end the Cold War, we can come together as the governing body of Rockville. We can find common ground. We can compromise, communicate, and embrace our citizen participation. And if we can do this, we might just even be able to send our staff home before midnights on Mondays. Just imagine. This is a new term, the 65th to be exact, a new page in the annals of Rockville, a new opportunity to put down the no and pick up the yes that this position of council member and mayor has afforded us. We've got a lot of opportunities coming up the pike, pun intended. Rockville is in dire need of a new master plan, a good plan that envisions the future that the people who live here want for their city. We need a plan that allows managed growth, smart and safe initiatives for pedestrians and bikes, opportunities for new companies to see Rockville as the location for their business, a master plan that promotes, encourages, and protects all of our collection of diverse neighborhoods, which, after all, allow for what makes Rockville so special: multi-generational, multi-ethnic, multi-priced, multicultural, multi in every sense of the word. I don't think we need to change who we are as much as we need to trust who we are. Rockville is also in dire need of several neighborhood plans, plans created by the people who live, work, and play in those communities. Plans that protect the investment, the safety, and the quality of life of our citizens and business owners. Plans that take into consideration the whole of the area, not partial segments. Plans that look to the future and the possibilities and encourage the type of community that the people who live in the neighborhood want to see. Rockville also must get the Rockville Pike Plan right. As we've heard lately, a funding mechanism for the BRT is unlikely. Let's work with the jurisdictions to our north and our south and create a road that meets theirs and that doesn't put city taxpayers on the hook for rights-of-way. Let's build a road that encourages safety first, that encourages multiple means of transit, and that encourages good development. And finally, Rockville needs to get our fair share of highway user revenues from the state, of tax duplication dollars from the county, and as Councilmember Feinberg and I testified Thursday at the Board of Ed hearing, the Rockville Council stands ready, once again, to support the county in the fight for adequate school construction funding. Great schools are the backbones of great neighborhoods. The previous council funded a compensation and classification study, but not every group saw equity. We need to finish the job. If we want Rockville to maintain our position as the most livable city, we need to ensure that the people who are working for Rockville are the best and the brightest. And equally important, that they can afford to live here. We cannot continue to lose good employees to more competitive wages in surrounding jurisdictions, and we should not expect people who don't have the same opportunity to call Rockville home to have the same regard and understanding of the Rockville way, a tradition of how to do things in our city born of the phrase, give them the pickle. And if you don't know what it means, ask our staff, they do. Because it is true, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. I'm looking forward to leading this council, to working together to honor the wishes of the citizens of Rockville. As we enter this season of Thanksgiving, let us trust. Trust each other that our intentions are good and that we will do all the good that we can. Earn the trust that the voters gave us when they elected us to 4 years. Trust that together we can and together we will do great things for Rockville in all the ways we can, for all the people we can, for as long as we can. Thank you. Thank you. And I was so nervous about getting through the ending that I forgot to introduce Alex. Alex Haddad is a junior at Richard Montgomery High School, and she is a good spoken word, a good articulator of the spoken word, and today she's going to speak to us on why trust is worth it. Thank you, Alex.
Hi, I'm going to be covering a poem by Hosea Jen Frank called Why Trust is Worth It. Trust is a confusing thing. It seems so simple, but when you try to pin it down, it can be elusive. I think of the way that my body sits on a surface that's new to me, unknown, and how my muscles remain tight, anticipating anything, and I'm constantly aware of that surface. Over time, with familiarity, I can relax and start to lean back. For many of us, that initial tension exists so much of the time. We expend so much energy watching and calculating, trying to predict, reading signals in people ready for anything to change suddenly, preparing to be disappointed. So much energy spent. We talk about trust as something we build, as if it's a structure or a thing, but in that building, there seems to be something about letting go. And what it affords us is a luxury. It allows us to stop thinking, to stop worrying that someone won't catch us if we fall, to stop constantly scanning for inconsistencies, to stop wondering how other people act when they're not in our presence. It allows us to relax a part of our minds so that we can focus on what's in front of us. And that's why it's such a tragedy when it's broken. A betrayal can make you think that of all of the other betrayals that are waiting for you, and things you haven't thought of, and people you can rely on. And you can feel yourself tightening up, bracing, And in the worst cases, you might resolve to trust no one. But that doesn't really work. Trust is your relationship to the unknown, what you can't control. And you can't control everything. And it's not all or none. It's a slow and steady practice of learning about the capacity of the world. And it's worth it to keep trying. And it's not easy. I heard someone say that trust is like a fork, not one way, but many ways. Physical, emotional, and maybe something else. I almost imagine trust as these invisible hands that we stretch out into the world, looking for someone to hold on to as we walk into the unknown future. Thank you.
I think the mayor and I will agree that the extra applause and youthful exuberance is well deserved here. Thank you, thank you. So we have a few more things to do. We all sing better standing, Mr. Frezzo tells me. So I ask you to stand and sing America the Beautiful along with the Richard Montgomery Madrigals. And the verses are on the back, and you'll notice that we'll sing first and last verses together, and then we'll listen to them for the second and third. And then if you'll remain standing for the benediction and retirement of the colors.
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the frozen plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea
bless you.
The benediction will be given by Reverend Mansfield Caseman, and he is an icon of Rockville who is honored for his life's work at the Mansfield Caseman Health Clinic, operated by Community Ministries of Rockville.
Inspired by the music and all that we have witnessed here this afternoon, let us go forth a trusting and a very grateful people. Let us go forth in peace, being of good courage. Let us go forth prepared to love and serve one another, strengthening the faint-hearted, helping the poor, not returning evil to no one, but rather being compassionate toward all, that all of us might live together in harmony. Let us go forth determined not to be bystanders, but to be upstanders, working together with our elected and with our appointed public servants, that together we might make Rockville the most welcoming, the healthiest, and the happiest city in the world. Amen.
Thank you, Casey. Okay, just a couple of notes, and then the color guard will retire the colors. Immediately following the ceremony, the mayor and council invite you to join them for a reception in the lobby of the theater. And if you want to watch this again and again, particularly those folks still on the Rockville Pike, you can see it on cable television, Channel 11, and those replays will be televised of today's program. You can also see it through video on demand, and that link can be found on the city's website. So we'll retire the colors, and thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. You've been watching the 2015 inaugural ceremony from the F Scott Fitzgerald Theatre here in Rockville. Keep your eyes on Rock 11 for the rebroadcast of the 2015 inaugural ceremony. I'm Kathy Dantzler. For the entire Rock 11 team, thank you so much for joining us.